there, welcome to Barre-Elevated, or welcome back. I'm Holly Rivers, and today we're going to work on your posture. So as this video is being made, this is during the time of coronavirus 19, and many of us are sheltering at home. What this also means, as many of us are spending an unusually large amount of time on our screen. I don't know about you, but when my phone sends me my screen time notification, I want to tell it to stop lecturing me. So, but that does have real consequences, right? Regardless of what's happening to our eyes, we know for sure what's happening to our bodies. I don't know how many of you do like I do, and I will find that I am shifting forward a little bit and my neck is coming out, and I have to remind myself to go up. So this is an important part of body awareness. If you feel, then you're going to remind yourself. Now that said, I will say that the stronger your body gets, and when this becomes your normal, and remember, dancers are notoriously famous for incredible posture. It's because of how we train our posture that is the case. And we're going to do some of those exercises today. Is that you will, it doesn't take a lot of body awareness, like your body will immediately start hurting. It doesn't take me long in this position before I'm like, whoo, got to get out of that, because my body actually doesn't want to be in that position. And that's what we want to get your bodies to be, is to where it really doesn't want to be that position, so you don't have to think quite so hard. A little bit of trivia just to let you know how important this is. I'm going to turn to the side. Is you have your cervical neck here, so it's nice and long, and we have this you want to think about an axis that runs from not the very center of your head, because that's not where your skull attaches. It actually attaches a little bit to the back. So in that attachment of the skull to the neck, through the occiput, you come down through, and the spine obviously is not straight, so the spine comes in and out of this axis that goes straight down. We want to find those points that are supposed to be on that axis are there. What happens when we come forward with a neck, that happens a lot with screen time, is that we are actually putting more pressure on our neck to the aspect of 10 pounds per inch, right? So we already have this 10 to 15 pound skull sitting on top of our body, well, with the brain and all that stuff in it, right? So the head's about 10 to 15 pounds. Now, you already take that, and then you come forward, you add 10 more pounds of pressure right here. You take more forward, then you've added 20 pounds of pressure. So you kind of catch my drift on how important this is. And if you really want to be someone who, as they grow through their years, in a time when we're doing this more and more, this becomes more and more important. It becomes something we have to work on more than I think we've ever had to in our past. So that's what we're going to do. It'll be about a 15-minute exercise, 15-minute exercise. And we're going to work on this dynamic nature of how to really create great posture. Starts in the pelvic floor, of course, so let's get started. So today we're going to start in standing, or like I said, if you want, you can grab a chair and you can do it on a chair. That's fine. It is up to you and what you feel. But posture doesn't just come from up in here. Posture also, of course, you've heard me talk about it 100 times before, the pelvic floor is very much involved in posture. So it really is about building from ground up. So one of the things that we have a tendency to think about is, do you have a tendency to have this tilt forward, or do you have a tendency to tilt back? This is my tendency. Like, I have a tendency, and I've had to work years for trying to really bring that into alignment. Because what we really want to have is, if you think about your hips, they're not going to be front or back. They're going to be right in that nice little neutral zone, is what you can call it. Everybody's neutral zone will be just a little bit different, but for the most part, you really don't want to be out here, and you don't want to be tucked in. And that is something that's correctable. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stand to the side so you can see a little bit better, is we're going to do the contract release, or if you were to be on a yoga mat and tabletop, it's a lot like cat-cow. Now the difference between cat-cow is, with cat-cow, you're really pulling here. See what I'm doing with my shoulders? I'm not really trying to do that with my shoulders. I'm actually trying to keep this open as I come through. I'm also wanting to keep a long spine. So I'm trying to keep this as long as possible, and I'm trying not to curl my shoulders over and around. So they're going to kind of stay in their place. I'm gonna come through and really tilt in those hips. Use that pelvic floor to engage and tilt those hips back. So you wanna have that nice pulling up, squeeze thing going on. Lengthening through the spine. I'm gonna pull my arms forward. And then I'm gonna up and open. And now lengthening up through the front side of the body in the same way. I'm gonna open up. And this part should actually feel really good on your upper back as well. And we come through. Really think about that long spine here. Really find that tilt. Up and open, but keep that length. Keep all that length. Keep the length in your cervical spine. Come back. And come through. And up and open. And so yeah, if you're standing, I didn't say this, but you are going to bend your knees. It's going to help really curl in here. Curl, curl, curl. Find that engagement. Feel the pelvic floor. Lengthen through the neck. Lengthen through the back as you let the middle of the back pull toward the back wall. And up. Now keep those legs straight. Really think about opening in that front. Open, up and open, 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 and come forward. We're going to hold it here for a second, just like I did the other. Find the length and pull through. Lengthen through and open. And let's do one more cycle. Remember not to curl through the shoulders here. The shoulders are still pulled into their place. Up. And release. Whew. All right. So, if you've been with me before, another thing that you've heard me talk about is knitting of the ribs together. So that one we have a little bit more play with the ribs, but we're going to start thinking about really pulling those ribs in. The ribs are the support network here. And what we're actually doing when we do that is we're engaging the intercostal muscles, the inner and the outer. And those rib muscles are what actually, as they come back and around and under the trapezius here, they really help hold this in place. And you also have the rhomboids there with the shoulder blades doing it as well. So we have the intercostals are pulling in. Now take your shoulder blades, this is where the rhomboids come in. We're going to draw the shoulders down the back and kind of toward each other, okay? So you want that feeling in your back. So if you were to see what's happening with my shoulders here, I'm going to pull them down and I'm going to pull them together. We're going to hold that position. So hold the ribs and hold that position in the back. From here, holding that, I'm going to take my arms through to the front. Not going to let my shoulders come in. Remember, they're pulled down the back and together. I'm going to open out to the side. Now check in, feel what's happening in your shoulders. Make sure the shoulder blades are down the back. Knit those ribs together. If you ever want to do this with weights, you can do this with weights. We're going to turn and face the palms toward the floor, and we're going to keep those elbows almost in line with the shoulders. And we're going to squeeze the shoulder blades together, and we're going to expand them apart. And squeeze and expand. And squeeze. Keep those ribs together in the front. Expand and squeeze. Expand and squeeze. Expand. Again. Keep it going. We're going to do two more. And last one. And bring it down. Let's do a little shoulder roll there. We want to also keep things loose because as we go in these really tight holds, and sometimes you want to take a moment to come out of it. Okay, so from here, we're going to start working. You keep the ribs drawn in, but we're going to actually be moving them through space a little bit. Okay, we're going to actually focus on going into the back plane of the body, that back space, which dancers do a lot. There's a lot of things that we do forward, but with this being the norm, or the way that we normally end up sitting, I want us to work specifically on the back. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our arms, I want you to bring them front. These shoulders are going to stay down. Draw those ribs together. The ribs stay in toward each other the whole time. I want you to come down, think about that pelvic floor. We have that nice engage. I want you to think about the pelvic floor coming together, squeezing in and pulling it up, okay? So if you want to really think about it in lay terms, grab and squeeze the pee and poo muscles. So it's like you're stopping yourself from peeing and pooing, right? That's what I tell my dancers anyway. All right, we come through forward. We've got the shoulders are nice and down. We're not coming forward. We're placing those shoulder blades on the back. And we're going to take it to the side. Now, watch my hips. So my hips are not moving. My hips are still to the front. So I have this spiraling through. We're going to bring it up on the diagonal. Now take it up, straight up toward the ceiling. I want you to think about a nice long cervical neck. So your neck is lengthening long behind you on the diagonal. You're going to go to the other diagonal. So there's a little bit of a curl here. So you go from here, rotate down a little bit, and come to the center. And we're going to come through. Now we're going to go the other way. We're going to go to the side. Now take it up on the diagonal. Take it back behind you. It's kind of like you're drawing a circle with your arms. Keep those shoulders down. And come through center. We're going to draw another circle. So if you notice, I'm going through a lot of motion in my back because we don't really only want to think about opening in one single direction. So we don't want to just open to the straight back. This is how dancers get such strong backs that support their posture because they move on lots of planes, so to speak. So we go all the way around, up, over to the side, and down. We keep those shoulder blades down the back, keep those ribs together. Go again, really engage that pelvic floor. I want you to think about your heels reaching in through the floor as if it could go all the way to the dirt under your house or your apartment or wherever you are. Maybe you're even on a porch if it's a beautiful day. And this is our last one. And come through, open arms to the side and take it down. And shake that out. You might have felt a little bit of work in here, like my arms were getting tired there. And as you feel your ribs doing this, what you're doing is you have a lot of action happening in that back. And the more action your muscles have, the stronger they're gonna be and the more dynamically engaged they're gonna be. It makes sure that you're not developing just one little set of muscles. Okay, we're gonna do one more thing and then we're gonna be done. So from here, I want us to actually come in. You can still do this sitting. So if you're sitting down, just stay sitting. If you're not, I wanna engage our lower part of our body a little bit. We're gonna bring it into our first position closed. In the parallel, we're squeezing our legs together. We're gonna come into a plie here. Now from here, we're gonna tilt forward in our hips. I want you to think about it being your hips, not your spine that is coming forward. So the hips are gonna come forward. You might find that you have to shift your weight back just a little bit. So now that tailbone is shooting back behind you here. Okay, so from here, draw those ribs together and keep the shoulders down the back. We're gonna come up in front of us. We're gonna rotate the palms to the ceiling, take those elbows and pull them back behind you. Rotate the palms to the ceiling and come up. Rotate and pull. Again, you can do this with weights and bring it through and come forward. Nice long spine. So what we're doing here in this folded position is we're also helping our spine learn and know that it has lots of ways of being able to find length, not just straight up and down. We're also strengthening our our neck muscles here because we are having to hold our neck in that nice alignment. And pull through. Rotate, those elbows are really pulling in. And take it up, those rib cages are drawn together. Really bring that compression, squeeze those lungs out. The shoulder blades are staying drawn down the back as we move through these motions. We're gonna do two more. And then we're gonna be done. And our last one. And release, roll it out, coming up. All right, I want you to take your hands over your head and I want you to grab your elbows. You can release your ribs now. Let yourself open up. Lengthen your head nice and long as you make sure that your head is not coming forward in this. We're opening back. If you can't, just take and open as much as you need to, but we're trying to open that front. So this is a little bit of the stretching you can do. So you can be here all the way to here, whatever keeps you with a nice long neck. Take it to the side and back to center. Take it to the other side. This should feel really good. Feels really good for me anyway. And back to the center and take it down. Shake it all out. Let's take a breath in. Let's do another one. And our palms are gonna meet at the top. They're gonna come down to our hearts. Thank you so much for being here today. Feel better, stay active, and age gracefully.